guys, and welcome back to erbsclass, man, for 5 more minutes of math. So last time we started this conversation, right, about solving quadratics, which was a way for us to find out where the graph crosses the x-axis. Remember, our answers in this situation are solutions, roots, or zeros. Zeros, remember zeros? Yeah, because the first step is setting our equation equal to 0, and then we solve for x. So we've only talked about one strategy for solving for x for right now. As the equations change, our strategies will change also. We're always going to have to solve for x, but that's going to look different depending on what the equation looks like. Okay, right now, this is the method we've been using. Oh yeah, square root. Now, it won't always be square root, but for certain situations, we're going to use square roots to solve it. Yeah, now we did a couple of examples. I think it's time for us to kick it up. Okay, here's one. So let's see if we can figure out where this graph will cross the x-axis, or let's find the solutions, or let's solve this quadratic. First step. Yeah, equals 0. Exactly right. Now let's solve for x. Remember what that looks like here. If I can get this x squared alone, I can take the square root of both sides. I gotta get rid of that 9 first. Oh yeah, okay. And then the next step is, of course, this is square root. I got that x squared thing alone. So I can take the square root to undo the square to leave me, yes, x. Now what's the square root of negative 9? Ooh. Wait a minute. Some of y'all think it's 3, and it ain't 3. 3 times 3 is positive 9. Well, is it negative 3? Well, no, because negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. You can't square a number and get a negative. The square root of negative 9, put it in your calculator real quick. I'll wait. It said error, didn't it? You know why? Because this is no solution. Well, later on in math, you'll find out this is actually no real solution. You'll find out later what that means, but for right now, what this means is it doesn't cross the x-axis. Let's look at this graph just real quick. Yes, this graph got shifted up 9 spaces. How many times does this graph cross our x-axis? 0, exactly right. So if our solutions are where it crosses the x-axis and it doesn't cross the x-axis, our answer, no solution, exactly right. Whenever you're asked to take the square root of a negative number, you can't, not yet. You can't. We'll talk more in a couple of years. Okay, let's do another one. Ooh, this looks a little bit different. All right, I wonder if we have to do anything different. Well, first step's still the same. Good, equals 0, exactly right. Second step is still the same, solve for x. Now, this looks a little bit different. Before, all we had was the x being squared. Now, we got an entire set of parentheses being squared. If this entire set of parentheses being squared, if I take a square root, won't that undo the square ring? And then I'll just be left with that set of parentheses? Yeah, exactly like this. Yes, just like that. These two things cancel each other out. And you know what that leaves me? Yeah, x minus 3, no exponent. And now since this is alone, I can drop the parentheses. Just like that. Yeah, and I take the square root, and remember, every time you take a square root, you got to do a plus or minus. A plus or minus 0. Come on, that's the same number. Good. Okay, let's solve this. Yeah, of course, add 3 to both sides. X equals 3. Now, we had 2 answers before, well, and we had 0 answers before. How can I only have 1 answer? Let's look at the graph real quick. Yeah, exactly right. Remember, this is a horizontal shift, so we change the sign. This goes right 3. There's my vertex. Look how many times it hits that x-axis. 1 time. Yes, 1 time. So, moral of the story is, depending on the equation, it could cross it twice, it could cross it once, it could cross it 0 times. All depends on the equation. Yeah. Let's try one more.